Thank you.
Thank you.
B, discussion and action on canceling this year's MAYFEST and focusing on only one event, which would be the Noche de Paz for the city of San Juan. Commissioner Ramirez, Commissioner Maldonado, and Mayor Pro Tem Garza.
Yes, Mayor. I had requested this item. I know I went by City Hall, spoke to some staff regarding the event that should be coming up. I was told that there was no funding, or lack of funding, and of course the time frame, which is we're about a month away from the event itself, which we haven't advertised, and so I don't know where we stand with the sponsorships. Do we have funding? What is the funding that we have available? And if there's no funding, I would like for us to consider canceling this MAYFEST and either focus just on one Noche de Paz or rescheduling it, moving it back maybe a month. I know when we had the reindeer, or we were supposed to have the reindeer run, I spoke with Mr. Willingham at the time, and he says because of the lack of advertisement on the event itself, we had about 3 weeks. He says, I'd rather not have it. I would feel we've lost money in the past with our events, and so I would hate to lose another 40, 50,000.
Mr. Arjona.
Yeah, last night we had there was an EDC meeting, and the EDC agreed to participate with the $15,000 sponsorship. So the total amount of the festival is at 30,000. So at this point, the EDC is participating with 15, so the leftover is 15 is with the city. Now, one of the things that the Cowboys production and concerts, the gentleman's name is Roy Garcia, one of the things he provided was the carnival, including with the food booth. In the past, the city was paying at least $13,000 to $15,000 just for the carnival alone, and then additional monies for the food booth. Now, this year, he contracted it out, or he's procuring that the whole thing is going to be $6,000 for the carnival and also for the food booth. If we were to like we've always done in the past, fulfill all of those food booths with the vendors, we're looking at about anywhere between $6,500 and $7,500 revenue coming from that. So if we take away those $6,500 to $7,500, we're looking at possibly about maybe 16. It's about what, 6,000 less. It's about maybe 7,000 that the city will be required to participate on. Now, on top of that, we will have the weather insurance, which is another 7,000. So, in all reality, we're looking at maybe about 15,000 that the city will need to participate or contributing to the event. Now, the motel hotel fund, we have about possibly 84 to 86,000 that we can tap into that. Now, one of the things that yes, we have about maybe 4 to 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks before the event takes place. We're ready. I mean, if once it's approved, we're going out with the radio stations. And as a matter of fact, today Mr. Garcia called me saying that the Channel 5 wants a space, and all they want is just to be there, and they're going to advertise on this particular event for free. I mean, no additional monies. And another thing is the sponsorships. If we get those sponsors, I mean, he already committed with $5,000 sponsor towards the music. So those are things that we can minimize. If we were to go get some more sponsors, then instead of paying our share of $16,000, maybe it'll be less, depending on how much money we actually collect from the different sponsors. So all in all, we're looking at right now at $16,000 more or less as to what the city has to participate on. But if we get sponsors, it'll probably be less. It all depends on how fast and
they're going to contribute $15,000.
Yes, sir.
And I was told by one of the members that it's a loan, it's not given directly to the.
The way that it was worked out is they'll get $15,000 contribution to the city. Any sponsors that they get, well, of course, go back to their kitty. In other words, let's say that they get a sponsor of $2,000.
That who gets the sponsor?
Let's say the EDC.
The EDC.
Right. Then those monies go back to the EDC.
So the EDC is going to look for sponsors to recoup the $15,000 that
to
they're.
recoup as much as they can. And we're going to be doing the same thing at the city. If we can get some sponsors, then those monies are going to go back and offset those 16,000 that were going to be committed.
Mr. Argona, the hotel tax money, what can it be used only for? Or for what other purpose?
What other purpose, as far as events goes?
Or what is that tax?
Usage for a hotel, motel.
Right, anything that has to do with promoting the city. You know, we had the Dia de los Muertos. We use some of those monies for that particular purpose because we're promoting the city. So that's
So
what
the
we can use
purpose
it
is for events, not like to pave, not to
No,
build, nothing
not
like
for that. It's actually for promotion.
Contract with any bands already?
Any bands, I know that we cannot get a contract yet until we actually solidify and approve it. But he's got one band already that is committed and a couple of others. But we're just waiting on the approval of the commission.
And how many others?
How many bands?
Yes,
There's supposed to be 5 in total.
in total.
Yes.
And it's already set. So if we approve it today, you're gonna start advertising those 5 bands.
Well, he will get the other 4 bands to complete because once it's
That
approved.
is he gonna get? What do we have already set? That is my question. Not what
The
do we
only
have.
the only band that we currently have is La Leyenda. Again, he's been in contact with the other bands. The thing is, he cannot commit to any because it's not approved yet. But once it's approved, then he'll get the commitment on those other bands
What's not approved yet?
as far as the event.
The event itself.
Right.
But you already have Mr. Roy Garcia already working on this
Yes, sir.
without being approved.
Well,
How,
it's
what's
No,
the
I think
difference?
that's a misstatement.
not
we-
that it's not approved, right?
We have budgeted for these events. All of us know that. It was budgeted, it is in the budget. What we're here talking about, and what you put it here was, is there enough money? What he's saying is, contract-wise, if there was not the money contributed by the EDC, would that have made it a shortfall? Perhaps. But we're hearing here right now, if we have 80,000 or so in the hotel motel, the hotel motel is for heads and beds, people that travel to come to be here. That money is strictly for that. And if we're having an event, which we've had for the community, 2 events for some time, it's our ability to be able to promote our city and bring the community together. The fact that we've got money that we can do it with, let's put it to work. You promote the city, you create community amongst our people and people from the outside, and we're not losing anything from it other than building community and promoting our city. So the money's there, and I can understand he's saying, well, I can't contract unless that approval from the extra 15 that just came in, which is already there, and the hotel motel, it would be a matter of putting that on the, as an amendment to take it from the hotel motel, which is already there.
So there's 84,000 in the hotel motel.
What's the amount? 86,000.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Garza,
so
do
we're
you
saying- go
have,
ahead.
do you have the numbers from last year's event?
Numbers for the Noche de Paz.
No, no, I'm talking about the MAYFEST events. My question is, was it a successful turnout? You know, did we go under or did we make any profit?
Have losses, I mean, on these events.
Okay.
We bring little revenue, like for entrance tickets, the food vendors, things like that. But we always have losses. So eventually, I mean, those 80,000, we're going to exhaust them out, right? I mean, because we're spending 50,000, 56,000 every event.
But in this case, it's only 30, right?
Yes, it's only 30,000. In the past, it used to be a little bit different, and the EDC will take on the entertainment. However, the expenditures on those events were, I don't know, you have the figures, 80, 60,000?
I don't think so. The events is meant to make profit, because that's not the reason to make profit. As long as we break even, or because most of the cities have events and they're not profitable. They're just breaking even, or take a small loss on it.
Well, I think the breaking, I mean, as long as we break even, you don't want to lose. But, I mean, I don't want to take it away, and it's a community builder and so forth. But yes, you have to look at City of Alamo is having theirs. That, they have theirs. And
Edinburgh is having
no,
one.
I know, and so, and they're, we lost the cook-off. It's here, and so again, we haven't promoted it. I know it's in 4 weeks. What about that money that we do have if we save it and spend double on our Noche de Paz or make something even bigger? But, that's, I just don't want to, again, if we lose, that's fine. But if we lose, a big chunk of money, we're throwing this, it's not a very big turnout. We're not getting a lot of good feedback from it. I'm just thinking maybe we need to look at other options, But if it's going to break even, if we're there, if we have the money.
Well, I think that we've done it in the past. It does promote community. Last year, some members of the commission didn't even attend our own, went to Alamo. So I think we got to promote our own and we got to support our own functions. And Alamo's having something, Edinburgh's having something. You'll never have a time when someone's not doing something.
Yeah, but and my thing is, me as a, before I was in the commission, I live in San Juan. I attended these, with my families. But every year, or for the last few years, it's been getting, I guess the response or the turnout is getting less and less and less. So now, how we figure out why or what or
well,
where
because
we're
remember,
losing.
the EDC was pouring in a bunch of money for booze and food. We had that VIP section, and we had a lot of money. Nobody was complaining then. But we're trying to build this so where we can do it actually and afford it through the city. So we're not exploiting the EDC money that was being used from other funds and not necessarily the sponsorships. So let's correct this. And if it means that we built up these back so that they're self-sufficient and not falsely driven by the way they were before, it's 2 events for this community and to promote the community, not just within the city, but throughout the valley. And I think that it's important that we continue doing these, and we're going to run out of funds at one point. The purposes of these funds is to promote the city, so you're not going to do anything by staying in the bank. And I think that that's what's important. If it's going to promote it, let it promote it. In the bank, it's not going to do anything. And that we're talking about being frugal. We are. We're not talking about the numbers that the EDC used to pour in. So I think that the cost benefit versus the results of what happens when we do these as a community, what we have to look at. And I think that's and I think in the past, if it's been the form that it was used before, EDC is not doing that kind of thing anymore. They can't. They have to be conservative. They better be, especially after what we went through.
And another note, one of the things that the way that this packet was put together, the gentleman came in with a carnival and also with a food booth, the umbrellas, the benches, for $6,000, whereas before, just the carnival alone, we're paying anywhere between $13,000 to $20,000, and then on top of that, the food booth. So there was a bigger expense. And this year, the only thing that we need to pay for is $6,000. Like I said, we're going to recoup those monies by the vendors when they come in and sign up and pay the $250 that they pay. And we've already been getting calls left and right as to, is the event taking place? Is the event taking place? So we're just waiting on this meeting so that we can move on that.
But Mr. Arjona, you got to understand that this discussion should have been taking place back in January or February. We got 4 weeks for this event, and that's the issue here. We're pressed on time, and by really trying to cram everything at one time, how successful are we going to be? Are we effective by doing that? And I agree. This event is for the community, and it's just something we really need to think about. Because, like I say, this should have been discussed and brought to this commission since January or February.
Mr. Willingham, why didn't that happen? Why didn't it happen earlier?
We've been in discussion with it. It was just a matter of the funds. We couldn't move forward without final approval of the funds. That's where we contract the bands. That's where it all starts with.
And when did you start working on it?
Probably early March, late February, early March.
Arjona, when did you start working?
No, we brought it in before, like in January, that we brought it in before the EDC for some help and guidance on that. And that's when my understanding from the EDC was that they were not going to participate. But as far as this event, we started working like right after the Noche de Paz. We started working and we started looking and contract and procuring the brokers or the event promoters so they could give us a good pricing. And we're going back and forth with the three people. We wanted to make sure that we get the best value for what we're going to be paying for. And it's not that we just started like a couple of weeks ago. This guy has been working on it, and we brought it before you all, I want to say a couple of meetings ago. It's just that
What it is, it's a lack of communication. That's the bottom line.
No, I think so. The problem is that, all cities do this event, but they don't come back here and they're hesitating to make an approval. Once we approve the budget, we need to set, okay, and give them directions that we're going to have 2 events, give them the date, and it's already approved, not come back at last minute and try to approve or disapprove on it. That's, every function. I do the Jamaica in the church. I plan 1 year ahead, and I said, next year is this date, and that's it. We don't change the dates unless something comes up.
But Commissioner, you said the key word there. You plan how long? 1 year.
1 year.
Not
But
4 weeks.
But this has happened over and over.
Seen it happen 4 weeks ago.
EDC used to have their functions, and they knew when their dates were going to be. That's why they were promoting the Noche de Paz and Cinco de Mayo. And then they would come to the city and ask for some funds to help out, and ask for so they already had their dates set. We are here coming, we don't give them directions to get started, and then we need to place a committee, and that committee was going to work with those dates that we give them. Now we're here, to me, we just get this MAYFEST going, and next fiscal year, give them directions. Hey, this is the date for next to these 2 events.
But if in fact, Commissioner, the money was budgeted,
Yes.
then we wouldn't be asking the EDC for money, and we wouldn't be looking for sponsors.
It was
Because
budget-
9 items would already been there.
If you look at
And
their budget,
we had the money to get it.
if you look at the EDC budget, it's budgeted in their line item.
In
That
theirs.
In theirs.
Yes.
That they're
Okay.
coming over here and want to give you, instead of 25, 15, that's their option. But
Exactly.
they do have it in their budget.
Exactly. So we're depending on the EDC
Yeah.
to fund it.
So we're not depending.
That's what Because they budgeted, then we're ready.
It has not,
We should do
they
it.
budgeted, we budgeted, and it has not saying that we're dependent. We have always joined together and did the event together.
And let me ask Mr. Cuellar, how many grants have we issued out to small businesses if we have this money available? How many grants have we distributed to small businesses here in San Juan if this money is available for parties?
We have been working with Lexus, and we're working with 1 or 2 others that are affected by the same money we're doing for infrastructure, and we have several that are pending, but since the organization has only...
How many have we issued out?
Has it only been restarted since late November? We don't have any that have done actually already. We just have some in the process right now.
Thank you, sir. So the motion, Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and stick to with the agenda item, and my motion is to cancel the upcoming MAYFEST.
All right, is there a second?
So move.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign?
Aye.
All right. Let it be known that Commissioner Ramirez, Commissioner Maldonado, and Commissioner Garza have voted against MAYFEST.
Or lack of communication.
MAYFEST. Right. That's what you've done. Anti-community. That's all you are.
It's called lack of communication.
Anti-community.
That's what it is.
Under item 8A, I don't know who was communicating because definitely the people in charge had the information.